when you're talking about the physical sort of means of pattern interruption, things like crashing into your opponent, your assailant. If you're working in pairs, someone may even shove the subject into your partner and allow them to apply a hold. The initial shove or the initial crash is what then puts the would-be assailant in that reactive state and takes them out of their game plan. Also, we want to keep them in that state for as long as possible. So, for instance, when I'm applying a hold and I'm taking somebody out of a nightclub, for instance, rather than doing it in a static manner, I'll keep them moving as much as possible. I'll keep shaking them, I'll keep moving, I'll keep disorientating them. Much the same way I would in a sportive situation if I was to, say, lock a tie clinch, a plum tie clinch in the ring, and I'd be utilising knee strikes. Well, I'd be keeping my opponent moving as much as possible, strike and move, and never let them get their bearings, keeping them in a reactive state as long as possible. So hopefully we can get them out the door, out the club, for instance, with as little hassle as humanly possible.
So these are three different principles that we have a look at. So pattern interruption would be the first one, and we've just broken that down. There would be also pain compliancy, which is basically getting people to comply through a certain amount of pain, nothing too bad, nothing that's going to break them and that's going to leave any mark, but it's just going to keep them compliant for a moment until we get them out. That's the second principle. And the third principle, as Jon just stated, is basically keeping people in a reactive state. So keeping them basically limbic at all time, instead of them. That's what I was explaining earlier, that the blood flows away from the neocortex, prefrontal lobe to the limbic system. There is a cognitive shift there when we experience adrenaline. And the goal of the last principle is basically to keep the blood mid-brain, keep the blood flowing where the limbic system is. So keeping them limbic so that they don't have the time to reorientate. Keep shaking them all over the place so that they don't have the time to reorient. And before they know it, they're already outside. We close the door and job done.